Welcome to Roxtalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. My name is Roxanne Wilson, and did you ever want to join the circus? Listen, when I think of circus, I don't think of the person you're going to hear about today, but I do now. You're going to meet the amazing Beth Thompson, who technically has run away with the circus. And when I say circus, I mean Cirque De Soleil. I should not try and do a French accent. It does not work. However, what you're going to learn about Beth is that Beth is not only someone who works for the circus, but she also happens to be a network marketer, Avi, because it's the podcast. And I can't wait for you to listen to her journey. You're going to hear how she went from the circus to adding on or diving into network marketing. And you're going to learn about where she landed. Landed like circus, flying, then landed in network marketing. I love the conversation you're going to hear because you're going to learn a little bit about CBD. I'm not talking about marijuana. Calm down, everybody. CBD. And you're also going to see what happened when and as Beth found her right one, her Mr. Right, her Mrs. Right in network marketing. You're going to be shocked. I'm just shocked. Every time I hear it, I'm shocked that she just started her new network marketing company in March of 2021. And she is absolutely soaring like they do in all of those amazing Cirque Du Soleil shows you've seen. All right, enough with the circus. Let's get on to meeting the fantastic Beth. Okay, wait, before we do meet Beth, I need to mention to you a little something. If you are someone who just needs a little bit of a makeover, if you're like, oh, a makeover, I love makeover shows. Have you thought about like maybe making over your Instagram? You know, everything needs a zhuzhing from time to time. And I'm willing to bet that your Instagram might need that. When's the last time you actually took a look at your Instagram bio, the vibes it's giving off, all of those things to see if you are attracting your actual target market? If it's been longer than 90 days, or if you've never actually done it, I invite you to a very special event. Very special, that sounds great. In fact, we're doing a quick and delightful makeover challenge. Would you like to join me? This is going on at the end of the month. It is free. And I highly recommend that if you are really focusing on Instagram to be your main squeeze in 2022, or if you know someone who is main squeeze, by that I mean the place that your marketing is going to happen to build your business. Let's get into it. The truth of the matter is, I don't care if you are rocking reels. I could care less. I don't care if you've got all this great content, or you even have your funnel built up. If your storefront doesn't look right, nobody wants to join you. Think about it. You know, like, has anyone ever told you, oh, you should check out this restaurant, and you go and you're like, oh my gosh, this place looks like, I don't want to go in there. The outside looks so bad. That is your Instagram profile. It could be the reason you're not getting the people you want to get in your business in any capacity. So let's make it over. I cannot wait. I love a good makeover, and I can't wait to help you make over your Instagram. So join us. Just go to socialstoriesmembership.com/makeover to sign up for a very special challenge/workshop. We're going to be kicking things off at the end of the month. Yes, you can do it. It's going to be fantastic. All right. See you then. Bye. Beth Thompson, so good to see you. How are you this lovely morning? I guess it's late for you, but how are you doing?
No, it's still morning. I'm doing great. Thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. It's 7 a.m. There's no better way to start a morning than to dive into an interview with a network marketer and do a podcast. So I'm excited about it. So tell us, you're a very unique person in so many different ways. I think we should start there. Okay. I love the layers and types of network marketers, but like, what do you do what's your day job?
Okay. So my day job is I work behind the scenes and with the artists of Cirque Du Soleil. And I will actually be joining a touring show early next year called Curios. And we'll be back on the road traveling the world, which is phenomenal and so great. I can't speak highly enough about it.
That's your happy place.
Oh, it's unreal, like to travel the world and meet so many different cultures and just like even the artists. And like I worked in the sports arena before, and it's a bit different. You have seasons there and like you have a backup, right? But who's going to balance on somebody's head? Like, don't really have a backup for that.
That's true. So wait, how long have you been with Cirque Du Soleil?
I was with them for 5 years before pandemic, and then we'll continue on.
Gotcha. It must be, yeah. I'm excited for you to get back out there. And then what made you, I'm just curious, because how does one grow up and go, I want to work for this circus or for sports in the area that you do?
Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to grow up and like run away with the circus. Like that never really was a thing. I'm from Southern California. And so Vegas was there and the shows were there. And I like wanted to see a show, but never was able to get there until like later on in my years. And then I went to school and I was actually work studying with sports teams and I fell in love with it. I was like, I want to do this all the time. Like what better seat than on the field? Like it's the best seat in the house. Like, why not? And so then I just started doing that and it just kind of evolved. And I was actually working at Georgetown University and I wanted to be closer to home because I would bounce back East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. I was like, okay, I need to be closer to home. And then that's when the circus kind of came around, fell into my lap. And what's really funny is I moved to be in Vegas to be closer to my home. And then about 10 months later, they asked me to start their partnership with a cruise line in the Mediterranean. I was like, okay, see you later.
Wow. So cool. So you've seen all sorts of places around the world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. And you, to be clear, you help, I call them athletes because that's what they are. I mean, they're circus athletes. They have no orchestras, but what they do is very athletic. But I'm also the person who believes that figure skating and gymnastics is athletes, and I'll go toe to toe with anyone who doesn't think that's a sport.
Oh, but for sure they are.
Right? You help them and you condition them to make sure they don't get injured. Is that right?
Yeah. So I'm an athletic trainer, athletic therapist by trade. So prevention, rehab, emergency situations, like that's what we're there for. We're there to keep them running. So like I'm the Ferrari's mechanic, basically. Like I just keep them going and running and doing my best to keep them on top of their game.
Which is so important. And that's so fascinating. And now you get to travel the world doing that. Amazing. So amazing. How the heck does one who is with the circus, as you always say, I never would have called it the circus, by the way, which is funny because Cirque Du Soleil probably means circus of the sun. Is that what it means?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know French, but I figured that out. But it's funny because when I say circus, I think of like people getting upset about the animals. And that is not the circus you are with at all.
No.
But still call it the circus.
Yep. We are, I don't know, we just took circus to a different level, I guess. The founder, Guy Liberté, he just took it to a whole different level from like Barnum and Bailey's and the train and what like people are used to. And then the performers are the animals. They're either the puppets of them or their costumes look like the animals. So yeah.
And the longevity that people love. I mean, I've loved the shows I've gone to, but it's just amazing. It's like, how'd they do that? And how'd they come up with that? So how does one that is in that world of imagination and creativity and all things go, I think I'll join a network marketing company?
It's definitely different two spectrums for sure. I started when I was working at Georgetown, and I loved the self-development part of it. I was super introverted and still am, but definitely more out of my shell than I was before. And so being able to like learn self-development and some business skills really like was like, okay. And in the sports world, unless you're like high up, you don't get paid very well. Like it seems glamorous, but like you really are not getting paid. And with student loans and stuff like that, I was like, okay, something needs to change. And so then I got involved. Didn't really align with that company anymore. And then my friend introduced me to Green Compass, and that aligned with like health and wellness, the athletic aspect of it. And then just the way it made me feel, I was like, wow, okay, I could get behind this. Like it changed my life. I love helping others. That's what I do in life, right? That's what I want to do. So why not just like go all into it? So that's what we did.
I love that. It seems like it was natural. What I love, and maybe this has to go with your background of taking chances. And I say that to mean like you're working in Vegas to be closer to home. And then they're like, hey, let's get on a cruise ship in the Mediterranean. And you didn't say, oh, wait, I can't. You said, okay, let me go for it. Because most people, if they found their first network marketing company and realized I don't align with this, they would think, oh, I've got to throw out the entire network marketing industry, as opposed to let me find one that does work for me. The concept works. I just need to find a different color of dress is basically. The dress is great, but you need it in a different color. And I love that you were open to that.
Yeah, I think there's good and bad, right? But there's good and bad in every industry and there's good athletic therapists, there's bad athletic therapists. It's every industry. And so I don't think you should like shun it just because you either didn't have a good experience or you're no longer aligned with that. And I know the network marketing works. I know it can work. I know it's an avenue where I don't have to have a brick and mortar, where I don't have to put a lot of capital up. And so if it works, maybe I was the one that didn't work it, possibly, or maybe that just wasn't the company for me. And that taught me what I needed to know now.
So good. That's like so good. That'll preach. So then you find one that does align with you. And how long have you been with Green Compass?
Just since March. So not very long.
It's not even a year. No. You're like a baby. I love it.
Yeah, the company's pretty baby as well. So they're only 2 years old. They'll be 3 next year. But yeah, like it just kind of like fell in line. Like it all lined up. All the ducks were in a row.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to push back and just remind people listening, it was all in a row because she was open to it. She could have been offered this, hey, do you want to check out Green Compass? And said, no, I can't. It didn't work last time. Or no. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know when I'm I'm grounded right now in the circus, but I don't know when I'll be back up. And I don't know. I don't know. I can't. She didn't take the overwhelm. And if you're introverted and you think, oh, wait, but I'm an introvert, I can't. She's introverted. Although you wouldn't be able to tell from her Instagram, but she is introverted.
Way introverted.
And I love that you said, okay, yeah, this aligns. You were open, being open. The worst that could have happened was you got some great jellies and you called it a day.
Right. And it's really funny because I was a huge hater because like, I really thought it was weed oil, you know what I mean? And I saw my friend and she's giving it to her kids and her kids are young, like 4 and 2 or 4 and 3. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, no, like, come on. Like I was a huge hater of like, like I grew up in the DARE, right? Like not drugs.
Drug abuse resistance education. Yeah,
exactly. Like, and so like, because of that, I was like, and she's like, come on, let me like talk to you about it. And so you're right. I was open at least to hear about it and like to be educated. I love learning. I think learning should happen throughout your whole life. And so because of that, like, I was like, okay. And then I knew how it was to be a network marketer. And I was like, okay, I'll support her. No problem. Like, I know how hard it is. I'll try it. But then it worked. And I was like, no freaking way. This really works. It's not just like some New York guy, like with a like, hey, try this. Hey, try this. And so then I was sold. Like when it like changed, like how I felt and like how like I knew it worked. Like I was like, okay, like, yeah.
What did it change for you?
So I was stressed out and I didn't know I was stressed out. Like I had this like low vibrating energy under the surface and I thought I was normal. I was traveling the world with the circus and we were in the Middle East a lot and we just had some things happen and like some like things like happened in a row. And I was like, oh, this is normal. And I was like, oh, okay, this is just how it is, right? Like just stress, but I didn't realize I was stressed. And then when I started taking it, it took me about 3 weeks to get like my dosage because the dosage isn't the same for everyone. And then I was like, wait, this is how I was like before 2 years ago. Like, this is what I'm supposed to feel like. Like, I had no clue I was under that much stress and how much it was impacting me. And like, I knew I wasn't sleeping as well, but I was like, whatever, sleep, who needs it? I'll sleep later. No, that really impacts everything. And like, even for me to tell my artist, yeah, you should sleep. And then I don't sleep well, like kind of, I don't really like to be a hypocrite. So then like, I'm like, oh, okay, let's change some things.
Wow. What you said was just so powerful because you said, we are humans. We are coping mechanisms like nobody's business. And I don't know that we all realize the trauma that we have been under or
Mhm.
gone through. Just basic. We all have our own personal things, right?
Right.
You mentioned some things that happened in while you're traveling, but we all have something that is in common: the pandemic, the
Right.
lockdown, all these things. And because I think we've all gone through it, we diminish how it has impacted us.
Right.
Because if we've
And
all gone
people
through it,
hold
then
on to that, and they
exactly.
don't know they're holding on to it because they think it's normal because everyone's holding on to it. And that's what people, oh yeah, well, I have that too. You're like, okay, well, maybe it's normal since everybody's feeling that. But you're
Mhm.
right, it's not. And it's all micro traumas that add up. They're like, well, I didn't have that of a traumatic experience. But if you add 10 of them together, if you add 2 years of the pandemic together, and now like possibly another wave, and you're like, again,
Yeah.
like that all adds up. And then it like can take you mentally, subconsciously back to the beginning when you had no clue what was going to happen. And that impacts your stress levels, your hormones, everything.
And that's just assuming that you didn't experience any loss. I mean, that's
Right.
just the baseline where
Right.
everything was you still have all your people but if you've lost people or people that that adds to it. And we diminish that. And it's not even that. I mean, like I was talking to someone just yesterday, they've postponed their wedding now, I don't know, 4 or 5. Every time they were like, no, then something happens. Even that is traumatic.
Right.
So
And
I
like
think, go ahead, please.
the people on the front lines, like we don't know what they've seen, and like they keep dealing with it, and they're overwhelmed, and they're not sleeping, and they're even more stressed out than like what normal, right? Because like even if you haven't lost, that still takes a toll, like seeing that every day.
It does. And we think that just giving them discounts at stores and saying thank you all the time, that
Right.
covers.
You're a
They're good.
hero.
Like,
You're
come
a
on, we
hero.
called you a hero. You got a discount. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure they are. It is a lot. And I would challenge us all to take a moment and go, am I different? Or maybe, and I don't know if you want to go down this road, ask your significant other. But don't, because then you're like, but you're different too. And then it's like, so that's very interesting. And one wouldn't even realize how CBD helps with that. But you called it something oil. You thought it was
Weed oil.
weed oil. So I think
Yeah.
maybe you should explain to us why it's not weed oil,
Yeah,
because I'm sure at least someone here is kind of concerned.
for sure. So cannabis it's the cannabis plant, and it's two different families. So like think wine, grapefruit juice, right? They do similar, they're made from similar things, but two different properties. So weed oil comes from marijuana, which is what most people think of CBD, but CBD comes from hemp. So the hemp plant is high in CBD, which stands for cannabidiol, and low in THC, which is what gives you the psychoactive property, that's the high. And CBD or hemp is low in that. And it's legal in all 50 states. And the legal limit is 0.3%. So it's very low. Like you won't get high, you won't have any psychoactive properties with it. Like it's basically what people kind of love about the weed. Well, I don't know, I've never done it, so I can't really speak to that. The relaxation, the less stress, being able to sleep, but without the high. So you can run machinery, you can take care of your kids, you can take it during the day and have a job. It's that without the, I guess, drug property.
Okay, so they're fraternal twins. They're not actually identical twins. They
Correct.
both come from the same mom and dad, but they're
Yep.
two different strands completely. I
Yes.
don't know why I went fraternal. One, but they're cousins, identical cousins. So it's like, or like, what is that? You are my wife. Goodbye. See life. Didn't she have like you're probably too young, but
I think I'm the
Lord
same age as you.
had the, you are my wife. Goodbye. See Green Acres. Didn't she have Zsa Zsa Gabor, didn't she do some show where it was like the city one? Oh, no, she was a city one. He was never mind. That's not a good example. Let's go back to the cousins, right? So one of them was like, I'm a city girl. And one of them was like, I'm a pure little country girl. That's what they basically are.
Yeah, exactly. So they both come from cannabis, but they're two different families.
Two families. One grew up in the we don't do the dare world. And one was like, whatever, screw dare, let's like smoke it up. But they both
species, same family, two species.
Two species. There we go. I know if someone who's like in science is like, wow, they've messed up this with their analogy.
Not a scientist, remember? I work for the circus. I ran away with the circus.
And I'm not any of those. So what do I know? Okay, that is really interesting. And it's good to remember because people hear CBD and they think marijuana. They're not
right. Right. They are not the same, but all CBD is not the same either. CBD is very unregulated, and that's not good because people just want to make a buck now. And most people are getting their CBD from China, meaning their hemp plants from China.
And why is that?
And hemp, because hemp is a scavenger plant. So it takes all the toxins from the soil and the air, and then they're grinding that up, putting that in your little bottle, and you're ingesting that, and that's going into your bloodstream. Like, why would you want like those toxins? Nobody, like, we're all like more health and getting toxins out of the home. Like, we don't want that.
Yeah.
And so know where your hemp comes from, know that it's a trusted source. Make sure they have a third-party testing. That's going to be huge. Make sure there's a certificate of analysis from that third party. So there's no like backbiting. And so it's good in quality, and then organic if possible.
Okay, so it's almost like when you buy organic food or meat that's like grass fed, or where like I buy my meat from Whole Foods and I make sure it's one of those numbers, same type of thing. Yes. And yeah, it might cost more. I'm just going to go on a limb and go, probably costs more if it's from I'd even pick certain states in the US and be like, I get it from that state. I don't want it from that state. Y'all get mad at us in California for our regulations, but you know that if we're making hemp here, it's probably good stuff. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But quality matters. And there's a loophole right now because of the farm bill that was passed in 2018 that made hemp legal. And so that people are producing more of it. And it's becoming I think it's a $2 billion industry, and it's going to be 24 billion by 2025. It's on the rise, which is crazy because when's the last time an industry was like that?
Seriously.
And there's a loophole in it, which has it's called Delta 8, and it's synthetic THC, but that is being allowed to be in CBD. And if you don't want toxins in, why would you want synthetic THC? But people are able to sell it, and people are able to get high, and it's I don't know if it's cheaper, but if it's legal and it's in CBD and your state doesn't allow marijuana, then people are yeah. But it's causing a lot of problems and distress in the body, and people don't know the effects of it yet. So really do your research.
And again, if you're going with natural, then stick with natural. So I'm going to guess that Green Compass sources in the US places.
It's USDA organic, nice. All in North Carolina. So they're also, everything is in their control from the seed soil all the way to the packaging and mailing. Nothing is out of their hands. So it's all USDA organic as well. So they went and got that extra little, and they're doing everything right. They're the gold standard right now of CBD. And they will not, and this is what I love about them. They don't want to do Delta 8. They will not change their integrity and their quality just for the fad to make money. Mm-hmm. It's a mother that started this, and she's no, I just want to help people.
And she's sticking to that. So the longevity is there. It's important to do your homework. That's the one thing I've heard about CBD is make sure they have the certificate and make sure it's an actual certificate, not when they did from their first, when they started, right? Or if just like anything else, most of you don't want to know all the details about what's in skincare. You just want to make sure that it's good skincare. You don't want to know all the details about whatever you're buying. You just want to know that it's good. Or if you remember when we talked to Kelly Gable LaBelle a few weeks ago, You want to make sure that it's ethically sourced.
Right.
So once you find a company that does it, you let someone like, oh, I don't know, Beth deal with all the details and then you're in good hands. I mean, I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I'm still learning. I don't know everything about CBD or hemp, and like it's changing and growing, and I'm learning every day about it and more things. But like, yeah, you should definitely get it from someone you trust.
Mhm.
And like, that's, and is it helping people? Like, is it truly helping people? I think that's like the testament. Like, if you go to the gas station and you look at it and it looks like motor oil, do you really want to ingest that? Or do you want to get it from somebody that's like, it's really made an impact in their lives? Like, they can
I
sleep
don't even
better,
buy
they're
hot
less.
dogs at the gas station. Just so clear. Like, but when I was
People
in high
still buy
school, I
hot
did.
dogs.
No, I like when we're in high school, I remember going to AMPM back in Arizona and we'd buy like, oh, let's get a hot dog or there's a burger. Like that's nasty to
No,
me, but we did some
yeah.
nasty stuff clearly back then.
I mean, yeah, I think that's growing up in life, right?
Yeah. But how gross is that? Yeah, if you're not going to buy a hot dog from a gas station, you probably shouldn't buy your CBD from a gas station. Is that
Yeah.
fair?
Yep. Exactly. 100%.
Um, so okay, so you talk about is it helping people? And we know
Mhm.
how it helped you, but what are some other ways it's helped your clients?
Yep. So better sleep. So if you wake up a lot during the night, you're not waking up as much, or you feel deeper sleep, or you get back to sleep quicker. So that's great. Less stress, less anxiety. So if people are really on the edge and maybe not about to yell at their kids, they'll pop a jelly, 15 to 30 minutes, they come down, they take a breath, and it's more like the absence of something. It's not really like you feel, you just feel the absence, like the weightlessness of what you just felt, more than like, oh, I feel like a jolly pill. It's not like that at all. It's more like, oh, I feel like myself. The other
Mhm.
thing is like focus and clarity. So if like you have a little bit of brain fog, boom, like you're like, okay, I have A, B, C, and D. And then like for me, like I'm an overthinker. So I'm like, okay, I have A, B, C, D, I have A, B. And then I just sit and I overthink about what I have to do. If I take a jelly, 30 minutes, okay, I have A, B, C, D. Okay, I'm going to rearrange them and then I'm going to start.
Does it,
And go ahead.
if I don't have brain fog, because I don't think I have brain fog, but I'm sure there's times where I should probably sleep and I don't.
Yeah.
Is it going to like impact me? Does it know where to help me, or does it like she doesn't have brain fog, so we're gonna leave that alone. We don't need her to be any more focused. Good golly, but her sleep could get better. Does
Right.
it? Is it that
Yes.
smart?
Yep. So imagine a parking lot
Mhm.
and imagine you have like, let's say 3 cars, 2 open spaces, 2 cars, 1 open space. So like say the first open space is sleep. The second one, let's say is sodium because you work out. The 2 parked cars, that's going to be your brain fog. And then you have 2 other ones, maybe it's like fatigue or muscle soreness. So the CBD is at a car and it's going to park in your sleep. It's going to park here, it's going to park here, park here. And then once you get sleep, it's going to pull out. And maybe you have something else. And then CBD is going to come. So it's just like helping your body get back into balance so it can do what it's supposed to do. It's not like putting a band aid on something that needs surgery. It's not like giving you something else. It's literally just helping your body to get back into balance until it gets that sodium, until it gets that sleep, so your body can function properly and stay in homeostasis, which basically means neutral.
Wow, that's amazing. Scott lets me give him anything. Like I just give him whatever. Like I give him pills, I give him supplements. I'm like, I give you any. Like he's just like, yeah. I'm like, that's crazy. But I am thinking, I'm like, oh, maybe we need to incorporate jellies. Like seriously. So I'm gonna need to get some of those. Let's talk about your business.
Okay.
So you started in March. I met
Yes.
you in June. I was looking it up.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know, but we just did well, I know we just the planning session, the big planning workshop this past weekend, and you were one of the people I highlighted. And I don't know if anyone told you,
No.
but yeah, so it was like, and this is Beth because I was just so excited about all that you'd done. So June, it was June, end of June, you joined
End
Social
of June.
Stories.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
First of all, why did you join? I'm curious that we haven't talked about this.
Yeah. I knew I felt like I was in a forest and I was just seeing all the trees. And I knew I needed somebody in a helicopter to get me out of the forest. And so I needed a guide. And so I was following you on social media and I was like, I align with her. She's rad. Like, I need to do this. Like, let's do this. Like, and I was like waiting and literally like the countdown into that midnight. And it was like, I think 10:45 Eastern time. And I was like, what are you waiting for? You've been thinking about this for like 3 days. And I was like, did it. And then I went to bed.
Oh,
And I had no remorse since.
that is so cool. I love that so much. Oh, that makes my day right there. And you've been soaring. Seriously.
Yeah, it's been a huge change in like business attitude, like everything. Like it really, like I said, I felt like I was in a forest and I was just seeing trees and I didn't know the way out. And I think a coach and just learning, and especially from you, like you've been there, you've done it, and you're helping other people do it. You're just not like saying like, oh, do this, do that. Like you can see the way out and you work with me. Like, and if like, I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. But like, okay, try it. And then if not, we'll try this, which I like. It's not like dictatorship. It's more republic democracy.
I am glad to know I'm not a dictator. Woo! But it's coaching you along, right?
Right.
And not everything fits perfectly for everyone. So it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you tailor it towards the person, which is phenomenal because like everybody's their own person and everybody experiences things differently and learns differently. And I think you do a phenomenal job with that. So
Thank you.
thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
that. Thank you. Well, I was looking at your numbers because I can do that. And it was like, let me get this. I should have looked this up before. I think it was it 60 something percent growth from October to November. And then it was like 90 something insane. Do you remember the
Yes.
numbers? I can look them up if you don't, because I was like
September to October was about 33. And
33. Okay.
then about, yep, I think it increased to, well, October to November was about 60 and then like a 94% jump.
And last I checked, it was funny because I'm like, and she's tracking the same November and December, which that alone, if you really know network marketing, November, we say, oh, December, but your sales are really November. Your volume's really November overall, unless you're running for some big title and it's the end of the year. But so before Saturday, when I looked at it on Friday, you were tracking, but I got a little update. You're still, I'm like, she's still going.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and that's like surprised me the most. And I love that I'm able to track it because that really reframes my mind because like I can be super hard on myself and I'm like, no, wait, you're fine. Like, okay, maybe you're 100 or 200 below last month, but then it'll jump. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect that or I didn't see that. And I really think you need to look at network marketing as a business and you should treat it as a business. And so if you're not tracking, and that's what I love about like what you've done as well, like you treat it as a business and you have us treat it as a business. So I learned budgeting, I learned like marketing, I learned like, okay, well, what are you going to do here? Like, are you really making money or are you just spending, give? And like, why did you get in this? Like most people get in it to begin with to make a couple $100 so they could pay for ballet lessons or something like that. And if you're giving away all your money, that's where most people have a problem with it, right? And like, that's what happened in my old company. I was just paying out money and I wasn't making any back. But now I know that's because it changed me to help me to grow to be where I am now.
Yeah, so good. That's a good reminder. If your first experience or your second or your third or your fourth didn't work in network marketing, whatever you consider work, it is getting you in place. Everything you do in the past prepares you for what you do in the future.
Right. And like learn from it, grow from it. And like I started to have that probably around like August. My sales were dipping and I'm like, okay, so and I didn't want to buy this thing and I didn't want to like put this thing and I was able to recognize that like, and then my old company, I would have just been like, nope, it's fine. I'm going to make money. And no, I was able to like look and be like, okay, this isn't working. Something needs to change, which is, I think, super helpful. And people kind of take emotion out of it, which is kind of hard because it's your business per se. And we're emotional beings. So
But if you can, like, look at it, and that's why a coach is great too, right? They're not as emotionally invested.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So true. You started in June, really July, June 30th. So like July. In August, so that you joined Social Stories in general. And then August came around and you decided to become a pro, one of the first pro members, because I'd had Elite, but we changed it up a little bit, or a lot, I should say. And you were in the first, what I call pro pods of like 8 who are all in different network marketing companies. No one's allowed to be in the same. And I work with you guys in your business more intimately. Why did you decide after, that was a big jump, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Why the jump? I know where I can go and I know where I want to be. I can see the vision. I just don't know how to get there. Like I said, I'm really hard on myself and I overthink a lot of things, but I know that I'm in the right vehicle now. And so if I'm in the right vehicle, let's say I'm driving a bus, but I've never driven a bus, I need somebody to be there to help me drive that bus and then get people on the bus with me. So I knew after like being in Social Stories and like being part of the group for a little bit, the community is off the chain, like so great. They're uplifting, they're funny. Like it's just like somebody you want to go have a wine night with all the time. And I think that was super helpful. And it's super hard when you're older to like make friends and find people who are aligned with your passions and like wanting to better themselves and self-development and not just like it is what it is. Like, okay, no, let's do something about it. So that was like one thing. And then I know that I'm Green Compass can get there, like quality, integrity, new industry, and it works. Like it really helps people. So why, if I have the trifecta, how am I going to get to where I see it can be? And I wanted that vision and somebody else to help cast that vision and like map it out now.
Amazing. So you took the dive and like you just been growing and growing. And I'm like, I can't keep up. I love it's so exciting. And one of the things I love is that you try. Like, okay, I'm going to try this. You do it and we work through it. And if it works, awesome. If we need to tweak it, awesome. And you just keep going and growing. Where will what does 2022 have on the horizon for you?
Yep. So I want to help more people. I want to help. My goal is to help gain 5 customers because that's 5 people that I can help sleep better, that I can help decrease their stress and anxiety, not yell at their kids, have a moment alone, not yell at their partner, like feel like themselves again. Like that's really what CBD, it helped me feel like me again. So if I can help 5 people every month do that, phenomenal. That's my goal for that. I also want
people every month. Is that 5 new?
5 new, yep, to keep going.
Love it.
And then I also want to bring people along in this journey with me. I want to build a business because we are new. It can only go up. And I know that people, the great resignation, right? People don't want to go back to work. They either enjoyed COVID or knew how hard it was. And I know that like teachers, moms, parents, like who are stuck at home and having to teach their kid and go to work from home and like not having that social aspect, like come get it. We have fun. Like we learn business skills, leadership skills. It gives you time away. Like, I just think that that's where 2022 will be.
I love that. And I love your goals. Y'all listen to her goals. Her goals are a normal person's goals. I don't want to call you normal because so I'm like, how do I say that? But your goals aren't like, this month I want 500 new customers. Because the reality is Beth is one person. What is she going to do with 500 new customers all at the same time? Will you grow and have 500 customers eventually? I believe that you will. But when you build upon that and you can build the structure out for it, it works a lot. It makes everyone's experience a lot better. But you're like 5, 5, 5. Now I want you guys to do the math. If she will, because I see her do it. She'll when she sets a goal, it happens. 5 new customers every month in the year of 2022 means she has 60 new customers. If I did that math right, which I think I did. 60 new, is that right? Did I do it right? Yeah, I did. 60 new customers. How good would you feel if you looked back on your year of 2022 and you had 60 new customers. And then do the math if you even want to play that volume game of what 60 new customers does to your business. And we all know that when Beth gets 60 new customers, some of those customers are going to become advocates with her in Green Compass. That's a beautiful, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I am so excited for you and your goals and where you're going. And I just love that I get to be along with you for this journey to just help you and coach you along. But girl, you're rocking it. And she really does do her business from anywhere, y'all, as we know. Where are you? Do you know where you're going in 2022, like physically?
Yes. So we're going to start out in Toronto and we'll be there end of February for me until probably about July, and then Washington, D.C., and then Atlanta.
Awesome. Y'all, if you're looking and you're like, is she crying? Did Roxanne make her cry? She's not crying. She had a coughing fit. So if you're watching the podcast and you're like, gosh, she's tearing up, she's not crying about this. Nothing wrong with crying, but this is not it. 2022. No, I'm just kidding. It better not be that way. Do you have a word? Do you have your word yet for 2022?
I do.
I would love to.
Unwavering.
Unwavering. Ooh. And what made you choose that word?
I think it just fits. Unwavering faith, unwavering belief, unwavering consistency. I think it fits everything. Like, and it also like helps ground me back to what I want to achieve and what I want, the vision I have.
It's a good one. Unwavering. So strong. That's a great word. Awesome. Is there anything you have going on? Like if I want to, and actually I am serious. we're going to get some jellies. So you contact me, tell me how to do that after the podcast. I know you guys are like, you haven't tried the jellies yet. I haven't yet, but I'm ready now. I'm ready. I had some more questions. You answered them for me today. I'm feeling good in the neighborhood. But how do we get a hold of you, or do you have anything going on this month?
Yeah, so I will, for the listeners, if we'll do a jelly jump, since it's going to be jumping into January.
Nice.
And we're going to like start off like most people do, health and wellness, right? Mm-hmm. But let's just try to get you to balance. Let's try to get you small steps at a time. So for those listening, I do samples and you get 3 jellies for $15. And typically you'll see a change within 3 days, sometimes not. Like I said, there's no specific dose for people. So, and CBD can take up to 8 weeks to work. So, but typically you'll see something: better sleep, focus, clarity, something within those 3 days to know if it should help you. If not, we could play around with it. We also have like money back guarantee, stuff like that for the whole bottle, empty bottle. But Jelly Jump, January. So if you're listening,
I love how honest you are. You're like, it's 3, you'll most likely see results, but you may not. I love it. You're pretty honest about it, but it's a $15. I mean, we spent $15 on I'm about to go to Vegas. I don't gamble, but I could easily, if I did, I'm sure I'd put $15 down on something and that could turn out in 5 seconds, not work. But you see results from your customers with 3 days. Right.
And you can even because you're getting a sample, I would even tell you to stretch it out to 6. So take half. So that way you get 6 days. So it's more consistent, because CBD likes to be consistent in your body. It's not like ibuprofen or Tylenol. Well, I have a headache, let me take this. It doesn't work like that. It likes to be consistent because it wants your body to function and work properly. And so, I love the jellies because there's kind of it's foolproof. You don't have to wait to eat or drink. You don't have to hold it under your tongue for 60 to 90 seconds. And sometimes the cinnamon, we have a cinnamon and you're it's Big Red, the gum, or a Red Hot. And you're oh my God, that's pretty. And you're I just want to cough. I just want to cough. And you're how long's it been? And then you want to take a drink, right? Well, if you take a drink, it's not going to be as effective. The jelly, you don't have to worry about that.
Got it.
You could suck on it like a hard candy. You could chew it. You could drink with it right after. That's why I love our jelly. It actually works
immediately. So what I hear you say is that it's good for a novice or someone who consistently it's a lot easier just to chew a jelly as opposed to setting up a certain time period and making sure you're not eating before or drinking or whatever you can or can't do,
right.
Medicine.
Right. So for me, I love coffee in the morning. And so I don't necessarily want to wait for my coffee. And so I'll take CBD, like I'll have my water, CBD, and then coffee. And I don't have to wait for it, which is great for me.
That is nice. So how do we get the jelly jump? Do we need to message you? Is that the best thing to do?
Yep.
Okay. Now your Instagram handle is not the easiest one in the world. So let's go ahead and go through that now so everyone can hear it because people are listening.
Okay.
Like, hey, I want the jelly jump. Go ahead.
It's
Grab.
Beth Thompson with a period between Beth. So B.E.T.H. Thompson with a P.
Got it. You made it sound pretty easy. You've actually had explained it to people before, I'm sure. That's what happens when you have a more common name, right? You have to.
Exactly.
So Beth Thompson with a dot after every letter in her first name. Yep. And then Thompson with a P. Yep. Fantastic. Perfect. So if you just message and say jelly jump, you'll give us the jelly jump deal.
Yep, exactly.
Love it. Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you'd want to say to anybody listening?
Try network marketing. Find a company. There's one, I'm sure, out there for you, whether you're in health and wellness, into cooking, active wear, lounge wear. There's one into wine. I wish I would have probably known about that one. A little bit harder because I don't really live in the States. So it doesn't really help me to be a part of a wine club. But there's something out there for you, and take what it has to learn. So the business skills, the leadership skills, that's what you're getting out of it, along with eventually, if you want time freedom, if you want the $500 for your car payment, the $60 for your ballet lessons for your kids. But there's other things you can get from it. So like look into it. And then maybe you want to start, that jumps you into like your own business later on. Like you can always learn something from this.
So good. Thank you so much, Beth. You're a joy. And P.S. And by the way, when you do go to her Instagram account, it is hopping. It's adorable. Everyone, I have so many people who reach out to me and they're like, I love Beth's social media. I'm like, I know she's killing it. So you will enjoy her humor, her personality, and you're going to learn a lot about CBD and all the things, which is a benefit for all. So thank you for being here. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We are recording this back then. So, but thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Wasn't she amazing? I love everything about Beth, and I do hope you check out her Instagram, Beth Thompson, dots, periods behind each letter of her first word, Thompson with a P, because you're going to see her growth, and you should slide through it. You can see her before she dove into social stories and her after, and just the way this introvert, she's self-proclaimed introvert, has really come to life. I think you're really going to enjoy that. She's phenomenal. She makes me, I get excited every time I get to talk to her because there's so much goodness. You can tell she really cares about people. And I love her outlook on life and all that she's done in her business and where she's going. Her practical business goals, treating it like a business. There's so many good things in there. A little behind the scenes. This is the 21st. So you heard us kind of talking about next year, 21st of December. December. Do you remember? It's actually September, but it's fine. I mean, the song, not the month. So I am leaving tomorrow night to go to Vegas. Super excited about that, to spend Christmas with my family. So looking forward to meeting them in Vegas, and we're going to have a good time. I hope that you're taking time for yourself. If you're listening to going, I didn't take time for myself, Roxanne, I wish I had, then earmark some time this month and take it for yourself. Take it for yourself, for your family, whatever you need. And if you're thinking, oh my goodness, January started, I'm just now getting ready. It's okay. You got this. I've got you. We're going to work through it. If you're soaring and going, awesome, I got you too. We're going to work through that as well too. So very excited. I am making some moves. Yesterday, Taryn and I interviewed someone. It's time for me to get new pictures. Let's be real. And so you will be seeing some differences in the look of all things on my every image of me is going to be changing. So I'm very excited about that. Rebranding is an important thing. Finding your person to help you with that when you're ready is important as well too. So I'll tell you more about that as it comes down the pipeline. We're not actually doing it and for a little bit longer. Yeah, she's scheduled, booked out, but I'm excited. Things to just it's time. It's time. You know when it's time, and when it's time, you make it time. Anyhow, so that's happening. And what else is happening? The new year. I'm very excited and pumped. There's a lot of things going on. If you have been, anyhow, there's a lot of things going on in the new year. I'm going to act like I'm in the future, but I'm not. So this stay in December. Y'all are amazing. I hope you know that. I cannot wait to see you next week for another exciting episode of Roxtalks. If this moved you, if you heard something about it, please, you heard something inside of it, please do 2 things. 3 things, actually. Share it on your Instagram stories. And we would love to shout you out on our stories when you shout us out on yours. Share it. Second thing, you can always rate it. Now there's even rating on Spotify. Hey there. So if you listen on Spotify, rate it there. If you're on Apple, rate it there. We'd love and appreciate that. And then share it with someone you know. Say, listen, you're an introvert. You're someone who needs to know this works and you got it. And listen to Beth's story. Listen to her growth. All the things. You guys rock the Casbah, and I can't wait to see you next week for another exciting episode of Roxtalks. You're not ahead. You're not behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Take care. Bye.